Get into coffee, they said. It's a great hobby and it's cheaper than going to cafes. Next minute, here I am up to my eyeballs in debt with espresso machine, WDT tools, coffee tools. I'm now a tool and I'm so broke that coffee has become my staple diet. But when Weber Workshop releases a portafilter that's made from a single piece of 304 stainless steel and it's only $400 US, I just had to work out how I could afford one. Oh, and an extra $200 for the basket. So let's check out the Unifilter. Douglas Weber from Weber Workshops has invented many different coffee accessories, including a puck screen, a dimmable steam wand, bean storage device, and obviously the most famous, the SG1, which is a Japanese-style stone ceramic single-dose grinder for a short sum of $55,000 US, and a whole bunch of other grinders as well. Then he went and made the Unifilter, a single piece of formed steel that actually ended up winning the Innovation Awards down in Melbourne's International Coffee Expo a couple of years ago. And the idea is you never have to buy another portafilter or a basket ever again, because this one will last you forever. And it has actually gotten rid of a lot of the fiddly bits that come along with the normal portafilter, like the spring-loaded, the little spouts, anything that can trap oils or bits of grind into. Really easy to clean and last. So I reached out to Douglas to see if I could get one of the Unifilters for me to do the review, and he said, of course, for a small sum of the full retail price. So no good. However, one of you is watching, and Kuzmos, who was kind enough to loan me his Unifilter and Unibasket for me to review. So thank you so much for doing that. I'm forever appreciative. So of course, I'll be sending it back with a little gift bag of some yummy coffee beans, which in fact, I'm going to be using today for this review. I'm going to be sending you this super jammy strawberry jam Ugandan from Sippy Falls. It's a delicious, ultra jammy coffee in the black, and it turns into a toffee when you add milk in. So if you want to purchase some, you can jump online and check out coffeebeansdelivered.com.au. Purchase some there. And if you have some things that you want to loan me to do a review on, I will be appreciative of that, and I'll actually send you coffee back with it as well. So anyone else who's watching this, if you want to reach out to me via Instagram or email and send me some information about what you would send for me to do a review. I'll review it and send you back some coffee beans as a reward for saying thank you. All right, now let's get back into brewing. So as I said before, it is one single piece of stainless 304 stainless steel, which for $400 US, you want to know that your portafilter is going to last forever, because you don't want to have to be forking that out every couple of years. So it's really easy to clean. Just wipe it down and rinse it out. And well, you don't need to soak it like our other portafilters. I think one of the biggest problems that we have going through so much coffee through the Synesso is that we have to soak the portafilters every night in chemical just to get rid of all the oils and any other grinds that are stuck in there. So this could definitely help solve that issue. However, I do notice that a couple of grinds do get stuck in there, and unless you're using the paper filter on the top of it, you're going to find that you're going to get grind stuck as well. So that's not all. The design actually houses a high extraction portafilter basket with laser ablated holes that go right to the edge. So not only are they precision holes, they're equidistant apart, but also they go right to the edge of the basket, unlike a lot of even the precision baskets, which do taper in a little bit and do have a little edge around the sides where water can pool before flowing through the holes. So you really are getting a really good high extraction from this portafilter. The idea behind it is that the water should flow as evenly through the puck without channeling, without over-extracting or under-extracting in certain areas. The basket itself is actually quite deep. It can hold between 18 grams and 22 grams. So if you are dosing at the lower end, that 18-gram one, you'll definitely notice it sits quite low in the basket. And even with the puck screen on top, it's still giving you a lot of headroom. So you might find your coffee is a little bit soupy afterwards when you pull it out. If you're dosing high, 22 grams, then you've got a lot of space to do that, and you don't need to swap over to the other basket. Now, if you're asking why can't I do a single shot of espresso, 7 to 10 grams, well, that's because Douglas Weber says that that is not real espresso, and you should all be doing double extractions, even if they're ristretto, getting you that smaller dose. That's just what he thinks. So there's also two designs, and this is the standard design, which sits nice and flat on the counter, which is really handy for when you're tamping, but it doesn't work on all of the machines. So if you want to use it on something like the Flair 58 or the Decent Espresso, you need to look for the dog-legged one, so it comes out a little bit further and it dog-legs up to get around the group head housing. I don't know why there's two different designs and why there couldn't be just one that is universal, because a lot of the other portafilters are. There might be something to do with the fact that it sits flat and maybe it can't be adjusted, but it is a bit disappointing because I really wanted to try this out on my Decent and the Flair 58 and I couldn't do either, so I had to resort to the Uni basket. The other thing that's really important to note is that the extraction is not going to look anything like your regular extractions, especially if you've been using a naked portafilter in the past, because you'll get that conical shape, which is called a unimodal, as opposed to this, which creates more of what he likes to call chocolate rain. It does look like an ugly espresso shot. It looks like there's heaps of channeling going on. It looks like there's under-extracted parts, over-extracted parts. However, the proof is in how it tastes. I'm not going to be judging it on what it looks like. I'm going to be judging it on how much effort it is to get a great extraction. What coffees are best on it? Is it better for light or medium roasts? Is it better for really finely grind coffees versus coarser ones? Let's test it out and I'll show you the results. So as you can see, I've done a few tests on it, all just using my palette. I didn't find a huge amount of variance when I got the nice extractions right. Obviously the under-extracted ones were really quite sour, and I did have to dial it in a lot finer than I normally would on my other basket, so that was something really interesting. The only real difference came when I went to filter roasted coffee. So these lighter roasts here were really nice and sweet, and normally I wouldn't say you could use filter for espresso. So I actually thought this brought a lot of those acidity, a lot of those acids really clear, bright, clean, sweet. Really enjoyed the filter coffee through the basket, so I think that could be a real benefit of it if you wanted to dial in lighter roasts, omni roasts. But yeah, certainly in terms of the Ugandan, which is a light medium roast, wasn't a huge amount of difference with the regular baskets versus the Unifilter. Now I want to test it using the difluid refractometer, which allows me to then not measure what I'm tasting, actually measure the extraction yield and see what was a best extraction yield out of all of these particular ones here. See if we get any results out of that. So I've done all of the tests now with the refractometer. Pretty interesting results because the under-extracted ones were still quite extracted in terms of their yield. They were getting 9.8s, 9.4s, and even the over-extracted one, which had 10.8, tasted pretty sweet. Even though I knew it was quite extracted, it was like a 42-second extraction. It still tasted really nice. Now, when I went to the Flairs, I got like closer to a filter level of yield, so 10.6, 10.8. That was quite interesting, 11.8 on one of them. And when I ran the filters through, they got me around 11% extraction yield as well, with the last one being 9.84, which was really sweet and really lovely. I really enjoyed that one, probably my favorite of the filters. Ones that came out of the machine, the one that I liked the most was this particular one here. It was 28-second extraction, with the paper filter and the puck screen, and it got a 9.4% extraction yield on it, so it's pretty good. So I was actually really happy with the results, and I really think that there's a definite place for the Unifilter. It's just how far you are into coffee, and are you willing to go that extra kilometer to get that extra bit out of it. That is my only downside. It's not for the faint of heart. So when a regular portafilter costs you about $35, a naked one costs you about $130, and then a hybrid one costs you $150, the Unifilter sitting at $400 is a little bit hard to stomach. The new hybrid one from Passato costs you about $150. Does that mean that the Unifilter, the one portafilter to rule them all, is a little bit overpriced? There's no doubt that there's heaps of quality and innovation and thought process gone into designing and making the Unifilter. There's absolutely no doubt. And if you're up for it, to take your coffee to the next level, to spend that time prepping your puck, doing all of the things to get that extraction, that 1% out of it, then it's definitely something that I would consider. However, what are the chances that somebody in the near future reinvents the portafilter completely and does something else that really changes the way that we extract coffee for the better? Does this then just become another expensive paperweight? I'm not sure. It might be. So if you're still drinking cappuccinos and caramel lattes, then I definitely don't see the value in spending the money on something like this. But if you're really trying to hone in on maybe getting that 1% more out of your extraction, the Unifilter will definitely help you get there. There's a bit of a learning curve, and I think you really have to make sacrifices in order to get the best results. However, I do think there is value to it. It is certainly a beautifully engineered portafilter. Whether it's worth the price, I'm not sure. But I do think that this will be great for a lot of you brewers out there who are really into your espresso. Now, I just got to come up with the $55,000 to buy myself the SG1. Wonder how I can do that. Well, I'm Ryan, your coffee coach, and as always, enjoy your brew.